Okay, so this is my iPad that I was using with the Art Tools app, which has the grid tool on it. I'm just going to open that up and I'm going to put the photograph on it. So I'll go into gallery. This is the photograph that I want to use. So once you've got it into the app, there's a little lock button just there. It unlocks the photograph because at the moment I can't move it about. So if you unlock it, you can make it smaller so it fits. So I'm going to have my paper portrait. This is how I'm going to have it set out. You can have it landscape if you want to fill the whole of your sheet of paper that you're drawing on, which would look quite nice, but I'm going to do it this way for now, just for the demonstration. This central line here, I line it up with the central part of the building, so I think that's where I want it. And then once you get it in position, press the lock button, it comes up red, and then it's locked. I'm going to start off with A4 paper and I'm just going to draw my grid out. So what I usually do is I measure the width of the paper. The width of this paper here is 19 centimetres. So I need to fit in 4 squares in the width of this paper. So if you wanted to do it for the full width, then you'd get a calculator and you just divide 19 by 4 and then you'll have measurements for the squares. I like to keep a little bit of white around the edge of the drawing. So what I've been doing was, I think I measured 2.5 centimetres. I wanted a 2.5 centimetre border. So that's 2.5 centimetres on that side and 2.5 on this side. And then that is that's the edge of the grid. So this is going to be the edge of the grid here. And just draw it out lightly. You don't need to do it dark because you want to be able to rub the lines out when you've finished. You don't want them to be permanent, or you don't want to be able to see them. So because this has got 3 lines which divide it into 4 squares, so there is a centre line in this. So the distance from this side to this side is 14 centimetres. So half of 14 centimetres is 7. So I just put the central mark there and 7 centimetres there for the central mark. And then go back up to where you'd done your first mark. And half of 7 is 3.5. So you've got your 4 squares here. So that's 3.5, 7 centimetres and 10.5 centimetres and 14. You've got 4 squares that all measure 3.5 centimetres. Do the same for the bottom. Just measure out the same measurements that you did. And then just add the lines here for these ones. If you're doing a border around like this, you don't need to draw the lines right to the edge of the paper. And then this one, it's 28 centimetres, the length of this paper. So if I take 3.5 off each side, so I've got 3.5 there, and this is going to be the border, it's 3.5 centimetre border. And it's just to get it into the right proportion for the grid. So this is the top and bottom of the grid here. And that measures 21 centimetres. So we need to divide that into 3.5 centimetres because we've divided this into the width into 3.5 centimetres. So you've got 3.5 there, then 7, then 10.5, then I think it's 14, then 17.5, and that should give me 6 squares. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is what we need for this grid that I've chosen. Depending on the size of your paper, you can have bigger squares. So that I've got my measurements here. I'm just going to join them all up now to get my grid. If one of them's slightly out, it doesn't matter too much. I'm going to rub out the lines that are on the outside of the grid just so it doesn't confuse. This isn't part of the grid. This is the border that I'm keeping around the image and that bit. Okay, so you've got your grid drawn out now. You can just about see that. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to do everything in pen just so it shows up best on camera. I'm going to just cross out the squares that I won't be using. So these are the squares that I won't be using that the police station doesn't cover. It doesn't cover those squares, and it doesn't cover these bottom squares either. So I'm just going to cross those out so you know that I won't be using those. So I'm going to start with the roof, third square down, that has the roof here. So I'm just going to mark a little line where the roof cuts across the line. So it's about there, and it comes to about halfway across the square. So it's the same height, but it comes to about here, which is halfway across. So I'll just put a little dot there. This one is about the same because I've put the building in the centre of the grid, so it should be the same on both sides. So I'm just going to join that line up. Then we've got the top of the roof. Then I'll do the right side of the building. There's like a little step, and then it goes across and it cuts across this corner here and then comes up here to there, just slightly past the line, and then it comes across there. So I'm just going to join these line up now just to finish the roof off. So this side is about the same height as this side, so just come along there, and it's about the edge of the building doesn't meet this line here, it's slightly in, so we stay on the same height as that side, and then come across, and then you've got your little step there, and then just join this corner to that part there, and then the same with this side. So then you've got your right side of the building there, and then we'll just do the same on the other side. I'm just going to draw a line underneath the top of the roof where there's a small line along there, which is for the ridge tiles. Then I'm going to just draw the sides of the building. Now there's a little step, comes in a bit, so I'm going to leave that until last. I'm just going to start the wall about here. I'm just going to come all the way down to where the wall meets the ground, and the same on this side. And then just join that up along the bottom, and then do the same on this side. Then I'm going to do the little steps just at the top of the wall there, and the same on this side here. That just steps in. When you're drawing buildings, it always helps if you study the building, each part of it, before you start the drawing, and then you can understand what it is you're drawing. If you're drawing something that has a bit of decoration on it, some decorative brickwork or stonework. So I'm just going to draw in the step. There's a little stone step here. The top of the front door is just about halfway up this square. So you've got the square here, the middle of the square is about here, and that's where the top of the front door is. So just drawing that line to the bottom there. The side of this front door, there's a small amount of brickwork just to the left of the front door. So just keep a little gap there and just bring the line down. Then you've got the blue area that goes above the front door that says police on it. That comes just to the pencil line here. And then just bring that across. Now the panels on the front door, you've got the glass windows, which are small square windows at the top. And then you've got longer panels underneath that, and then there is there's a handle just about here. There's a blue sign it's about level with the middle of this window. So start your top line here, and it comes across, and then it comes down to about halfway with the next panel down. So that's the sign that's going to be blue. Then you've got the stone windowsill, which is about the same level as this part of the door. So the stone windowsill is going to be here. It doesn't reach across right to this side. There's a gap because there's a drain pipe here. So I'm just going to make the stone windowsill about this big here. And then the top of the window goes about here, and it's not as wide as the windowsill, so I'm just going to take it to about there, and there's a small gap in between this window and the blue sign that we've just drew. Then I'm going to put the window frame in. Just keep the window frame quite thin, don't make it too chunky. So you've got this part of the building done now. I'd leave the cream brickwork until I've finished the 2 windows up here. I'll draw in the bottom of the roof, which is just above this line here. So it's about central there. So I'm gonna do the bottom of the roof just there. Then the windows are in between. They're kind of like in between this area here and this area here. So the upstairs window is directly above this window. Keep this window in line with this one. So I'll start this one first. Start just above the pencil line there. Comes down to about there. And I might have done that a bit long, but it's okay. And then this one about there. And then there's a stone windowsill that comes across just there. It's about the same as the one underneath. Then I'll put the window frame in, which is halfway down the window. And then put the next window in the same distance from this central line as this one is. So you've got the windowsill here, then the top of the window, which is about here, and then the window. I'll put the window frame in. Right, now I'm going to put the chimneys in, and they are about, if you use this, the cross of this pencil, these pencil lines, if you use that as a guide and just come across this line, and it's about here where the chimney is, and then it comes up to about here. So I'm just going to bring that across to meet. It comes down and then it comes out, and then the chimney pots, they're just slightly higher than the point of this roof. So I'm going to start the first one here, and then the second one, little lines across them, about there. And then they've got a V-shape top, like that. I'll do the other side the same. And then we've just got the 4 windows to put in, and then I can do the decoration on the brickwork. The top of the window is just slightly above these parts of this on either side. So if you take it just slightly higher and then just run your hand along, and then that's kind of where you want the top of the window to be. The bottom of the window is just above this pencil line, across there to about there. Okay, so that's the first window in. I'm just going to put the windowsill on, the stone windowsill, which is, it's slightly wider than the window, and it's about the same, as that line there. So I'm just going to put the window frame in, which is halfway down the window, and there's 6 panes of glass on the top part and 6 panes on the bottom part. So I'm just going to divide that into 3, the width, and then 3 on the bottom, and then just do 2 little ones in between, and then you can just join those up, the little panes of glass. If you were doing this in pencil, you'd be able to do it more accurately. Just come straight down like that. So there you've got your 6 panes of glass in the window. And then I'm going to just put the next window in. The window starts it's about a third down from the square. So if you kind of visualise splitting this square into 3, and then I'd say that third was about there. You want it the same width, which is about there. The same width as the window above. And then just join those tops up. The bottom of the window is about 1/4 of the way up. So if you divide that into quarters, I'd say it was about here, the bottom of the window, and then just join up the sides. Windowsill underneath, And then I'm just going to do the window frame again. Depending on how accurate you want to do this, you might want to use a ruler to make it more accurate and straight. Or if you want it to look a bit more looser, then you might want to just do it freehand. It's up to you what you want to do. Right, so that's the 2 windows on this side. I'm just going to do the two windows on this side are exactly the same as I've just done there. Just going to start drawing in the decoration of the cream bricks. So they start around here, and then there's a little bit that goes up there and down there, and then they start stepping down. So okay, so we want it to step down 6 times. 4, 5, 6. So there we've got 6 there, and then I'll just finish those off by drawing the lines that are underneath. That comes straight across, and then we repeat what I've just done on the other side. We've got 10 little sticky out bits on this cream bit that comes along here. There's one in line with the top of this window. I'm just going to put one there first, just to mark it. That one's number 6, so I want to put 5 more here. And then we'll want 4 here. I'm going to put an extra one in just to even it out. Do the same on this side. And there's a raised brick area that comes along here. Okay, and then I'm going to do this area the same on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to do the decoration around the door, the cream area. So it starts just halfway down this blue piece. I'm just going to draw a line down there, then it goes in, and it goes behind the blue sign. Then it starts again about here, comes down to the stone lintel, goes in, comes back out. Okay, so that's everything. I'm just going to draw in the light that's above the door. So you've got the bottom about here. If you just put the top in first, so it goes out slightly on both sides. Then we've got like a little pointy bit on each corner. Then it comes in. And then there's another piece that comes up like that. And then there's a little round bit, and then there's a little round bit on the top there, and that says please. And then I'm just going to write please along the top of this sign here. I'm just going to put the gutter in, which is just run a little line below the roof, and then draw the downpipe in. And I think that's everything. Oh, I haven't done the decoration around the windows. Right, I'm just going to draw the decoration around the windows. I think that's everything. You could draw in the individual tiles on the roof if you wanted to. You could draw in the individual bricks on the whole of the building if you wanted to. You could just add that when you come to painting it. I think the only thing that I would have done differently was I would have done the windows a bit thinner. If I was doing it in pencil, I would have been able to adjust the windows and make them a bit thinner. It's got more of a looser style like this. If you just go straight in with pen, then you don't have the option of rubbing out. So you just have to embrace the wonky lines and the mistakes that you make, and it just adds character to it. I'm going to leave it there, and then I'm going to rub out the pencil lines, and I'm going to start painting it. And I'm going to do a separate video for that, so that'll be in part 3. There should be a link up somewhere on this video for you to watch that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.